Limiting factor for aquatic life. Aquatic environment have many advantages. Water has many properties, and because of that it is a unique kind of environment to live in. Water pressure provide physical support. Temperature fluctuation are very limited, which reduce the risk of aquatic animal to become overheated or to dry out. The required nutrients are readily available because they are dissolved in water. When toxin enter the water, they are quickly converted or dissipated. These are very positive effect of living underwater. However, there are also some factors that limit aquatic life. These are as follow: aquatic abiotic factor. Temperature influence the activity and growth of organism. Temperature also determine which type of organism can live in a lake. Usually the higher the water temperature, the greater the activity in lake. However, all aquatic species have a preferred temperature range. If temperature vary too much out of range, species will die or move different location. Sunlight can only penetrate the water up to depth of 20 to 30 meter below the surface. Thus, most photosynthesis in aquatic environment occur near the surface. This means the most plant cannot grow if they are bottom of a deep lake. Producer need sunlight to produce oxygen and other required substance that will sustain consumer. Production can only occur in the zone where sunlight can penetrate. Suspended matter may interfere with the penetration of sunlight into water. This may decrease the size of zone in which production take place. Water transparency is measure of how clear the water is. It is important because aquatic plants need sunlight for photosynthesis. The clearer the water, the deeper the sunlight will penetrate. It is one of the main factor of water of it is one of the main physical properties affecting aquatic life. Therefore, it is particularly important in determining the growth of algae. Oxygen enters aquatic ecosystem for the atmosphere and on account of production by phytoplankton. Dissolved oxygen concentration deriving from atmospheric oxygen are influenced by water temperature. Then dissolved oxygen level fall below 3 ppm. Many consumers such as fish and zooplankton will die. This makes dissolved oxygen and water temperature very important limiting factor in aquatic life zone. Oxygen level like temperature also decrease with depth. Nutrient availability such as nitrogen, phosphorus. Nutrient supplies are usually satisfactory in freshwater ecosystem. However, in open ocean, nutrients are often in short supply. They are an important limiting factor for productivity in aquatic life zone. Phosphorus is the main limiting nutrient in freshwater life zone, whereas nitrogen is the main limiting nutrient in saltwater life zone. In the open ocean, the limiting factor is always nutrient supply. Most nutrients enter the ocean by washing in from the land. The farther away from the coast an area in the less access it typically has the nutrient produce that producer require: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium for photosynthesis and growth. Salinity is the saltiness or dissolved salt content of a body of water. It is an important factor influencing the type of organism that live in a body of water. As well, salinity influence the kind of plant that will grow either in water body or in land fed by a water. Most aquatic organisms function optimally within narrow range of salinity. When salinity changes to above or below this range, an organism may lose the ability to regulate its internal ion concentration. Indeed, osmoregulation may become so energetically expensive that the organism died due to direct physiological effect, or it became more vulnerable to biotic pressures such as competition, disease, or parasitism. Consequently, shifting salinity distribution can affect the distribution of macrobenthos as well as those of rooted vegetation and sessile organism. Geographical space: if the species can only survive within given ecosystem, the size of ecosystem will prevent further population increase. Climate: global climate warming could result in earlier spring melt, higher level of rain and snow, and an increase in evaporation. Together, these changes could result in an overall decrease in river water level. Warmer temperature causing earlier melting of ice jam could affect replenishment of lakes and ponds, resulting in lower water level. Increases in water temperature could the survival and reproductive success of fish species such as trout and barbot. Warmer temperature and changes in water quality could therefore affect species composition and survival in the oil sand region. Biotic factor: predation. Predator will limit the growth of population as well as human pouncing. Predation occurs when the population density of the predator is high. The predator will consume their prey and increase their own population. However, the population of prey will decrease. On the other hand, the lack of predation when the population density of predator is low will cause problem for prey population. When there are few predators, the prey population increases very quickly, and this can lead to the depletion of resources and increased disease. এটা হচ্ছে বায়োটিক ফ্যাক্টরের মধ্যে পড়ে প্রিডেটেশন। আর দ্বিতীয়টা হচ্ছে কম্পিটিশন উইথিন দ্য স্পেসিস অ্যান্ড আদার স্পেসিস ফর ফুড ওয়াটার স্পেস অ্যান্ড শেল্টার উইল লিমিট ফার্দার গ্রোথ। কম্পিটিশন ক্যান অকার বিটুইন মেনি অর্গানিজম দ্যাট লিভ ইন দ্য সেম হ্যাবিটেট. Resources are limited in habitat, so organisms must compete for food, water, space, and shelter. For example, both northern pike and whales prey on yellow perch, so they compete for same food source. However, this competition is only apparent when population of northern pike and wally have high density of population of yellow perch has a low density. Disease in a population increase with the density of the population. High densities make it easier for parasite to find host and spread the disease. Parasitism is a relationship in which one species benefit at the expenses of other. A parasite is a organism that live in or on other organism called host to get nourishment, while the parasite benefit from relationship the host is harmed or killed. Crowding only occur at high densities. Overcrowding can cause depletion of resources, disease, and stress due to density usually has a negative effect on population. Stress can make organism weak and more prone to disease. Physical characteristic of organism can affect their population. Many organisms have adapted and evolved in order to increase their chance of survival. For example, some species of fish have colored marking to warn predator that they may be toxic, or some species use camouflage color to help them hide and avoid them being eaten. Behavior of organism can also affect their population. For example, some species migrate to find new source or to mate. Some organism create societies or feeding territories. For instance, white bass live in school and work together to drive immigrant signal to the surface of feeding. Some species may have mating or courtship behavior that affect their population.